Well, millions of workers around the world are celebrating International Workers' Day today. The Congress of South African Trade Unions is holding its main rally in Port Elizabeth in the Nelson Mandela Bay metropolitan area. President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver the keynote address. COSATU celebrates the 2018 May Day under the theme Building Unity and Cohesion of COSATU to advance the national democratic revolution. And now let's go back to our Worldview reporter, Natasha Piri. Natasha, can you hear us?
Well, very good morning to you, Richard, and of course to the Afro Worldview listeners. Of course, we're broadcasting all the way from the beautiful city of Port Elizabeth, of course, at the Isaac Wilson Stadium. And just to cut short, it actually crossed to the Provincial Secretary of COSATU within the region, Ubab Kolani. Thank you so much for joining us on ANN7. We spoke yesterday. I think for me, just take us through the importance of this day. Why is it so important for workers all around to actually commemorate this day?
Yeah, this is a workers' day that was attained through blood of the workers because they sacrificed. If you remember, it started in Chicago, where workers were demanding just an 8-hour week. And it spread because the employers by then responded by violence, shooting some of the workers, and they were killed. Then it spread throughout the world. Even here in South Africa, we understood to say, look, we need also to have these workers' rights. And you'll remember our history. We were then under apartheid government. So we started fighting for these rights up to a point where this day was recognized also here in South Africa. So it is a public holiday now, and is celebrated by workers here in South Africa. So that's the importance of it. We are continuing with our struggle in terms of making sure that workers get their rights.
COSATU has been at the forefront of, attaining the minimum wage, of course, and lately we've seen SAFTU also saying that they want a living wage. I mean, just take us through and talk us through that contrast of, the minimum wage and the living wage. When talking to Babs Dumodla, COSATU president yesterday, he had said that, the minimum wage is not the living wage, but COSATU will continue to fight for these things.
The president of COSATU was correct. We are saying at least a minimum wage as a start. And the importance of it to us is that it covers a lot of vulnerable workers, like your domestic workers, farm workers, will be able to benefit on this minimum wage. That's why we said as COSATU, if it covers plus minus 6.5 million people, why can't we take it? And we took it as COSATU, and the government agreed, and other business people. So for us, it is a step towards a living wage, of which COSATU is still fighting for it. And it's way above the minimum wage. Our demand at least is around 5.5 or 6,000 for a living wage at least. But for us, this is a start towards that.
You've just listed some of the positives. Let's also talk us through the negatives. I know that unemployment is quite a major challenge for you guys. The condition of farm workers as well has also been put under the spotlight. What is COSATU doing, and what is your plan of action to ensure that more people actually are employed? What is your plan of action to ensure that farm workers' rights are also protected? I know that there's the Back to Basics program that COSATU has started about in 2005, but what else is COSATU doing in terms of this?
Now, if you remember, we've been having campaigns like banning of labor brokers, decent creation of decent jobs. So this is our struggle as COSATU to say, as much as we are getting some, there are some that we still have to fight for. So this is we are campaigning right throughout, and I believe even in the farm workers, ultimately we'll be able to make penetration. And we are building a strong union for farm workers that is about to be formed now since FAO moved away. So we believe that ultimately every worker in South Africa will be able to benefit in the economy of this country.
And last but not least, just talking about today's program, just take us through that logistics and who else is going to be here. I know the likes of the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa will be giving a message of support. The keynote speaker will be Obabs Dlhamini Kusatu, President. We've also got other alliance leaders like the SACP and Sanko also coming through today.
That's it, yes. But before that, remember, there will be a march which will gather at Njoli Square, move at 9 to KwaZakhele police station, where we intend to hand over a memorandum that contains our demands, more specifically the local demands, because we've discovered that there's a lot that is not going well, especially to our workers in the metro municipality led by the DA. So after handing over that memorandum, we'll then proceed to this stadium where the main rally will be starting, of course, with the main speaker being the president of COSATU, but before it will be the president of the ANC speaking to the workers. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. We'll actually catch up with you later on, and all the best for today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Wakul.